Are you ready for a jump scare? Hi everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome back to my 8th planner update of 2023, which is for August, of course. I'm just gonna preface, I did not have a very good planner month. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I did have a little thought that I would, just like before filming this video, I would go through all of my empty or half empty spreads and fill out a few things. So it just looks a little bit more satisfying for this video. But honestly, I think it's much better just to show you like this is just what happens when I have an off month. And I talk a lot about how at the end of the day, planning and journaling shouldn't cause you any stress. And this applies to me as well. So I shouldn't stress over, having empty spreads and stuff like that. So with that being said, it's a little warning that things are a little sparse and hopefully you don't mind. I do want to mention I have a lovely cup of coffee here, and this is a chocolate flavored cup of coffee. I don't really know how they flavor coffee, but oh my gosh, the aroma is amazing. But anyways, let's get into it. This is my Leuchtturm bullet journal, which is actually the most filled one, and it's very exciting. I finished the previous pocket bullet journal and I uploaded an entire flip through of that if you're interested. So I did manage to fill out a few spreads. For the table of contents, I just started with August 2023, and I did mark in where my monthly tracker is, which I will show you in a bit. So since this page is blank and this one is dot grid, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do for this page, and I thought it would be fun to do kind of like an August in review. I actually just filled this out throughout the month, and it's definitely not a doodle every single day, but it's just whenever I feel like something's notable. So when my friend came over, when I went to a farm stand, baked a lemon olive oil cake, watched Barbie, had a family dinner. We hosted this wildfire fundraiser, met up with some friends that came over from the UK, made zucchini bread, bought my first planner for 2024, which is so exciting. I'll talk about it later. And then my baby nephew was born on August 28th, and that was absolutely the highlight of my month. And then this is my monthly spread in the pocket bullet journal. I used the Ode to Van Gogh washi tape from my shop, and it is so beautiful. And to color code, I used blue for work and then yellow for personal. And as you can see, it was a pretty packed month. At the bottom, I wanted to do kind of like a tracker, but I midway through, okay, not even midway, like a third way through, I decided to move it to the weekly section instead of tracking it on the monthly section. So that's why I stopped tracking. This was my first spread. This was more so a social media post. So with my bullet journal, I'm very flexible about what I, do. Sometimes it's weekly, sometimes it's daily, sometimes I just completely skip it. And for this particular week, it was my birthday sale week, and I had just so many social media posts that I had to do for YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I literally had 5 posts on some days, so I really had to keep on top of that. So I kind of did this color coding spread. This was a 2 days on one page. I made a little doodle of myself on my birthday, and this was a grocery list, which I sectioned it off by whichever grocery store had the item for the cheapest. Then this was more so like a vertical weekly spread, basically just ongoing. So whenever I ended off a to-do list, I continued the next day. So it wasn't too structured, which I like. On this day, I went on a run, and I just saw this man who was also running, and he looked super epic. So I made a doodle of him and wrote a little blurb about my kind of like a backstory I made up of him in my head. I don't know if that's kind of creepy, but yeah. Okay, and then this is what I was talking about at the beginning on page 8. This is my 2024 calendars and monthly kits tracker. Obviously, as a shop owner, I have to start designing for 2024 items, and this is my kind of progress bar tracker until I finish. Now, the funny thing is, this is no longer accurate. I don't think I will dive too much into explaining, but I will no longer be doing all of these things, and I will also be doing some other things. So yeah, this tracker is unfortunately no longer accurate, so I might be creating another one soon. This is a page I dedicated to going to the SGS planner conference in November. I've mentioned this before, but I have a trip planned in November where I will be flying from Vancouver to Chicago to Orlando, and then Orlando back to Vancouver with a little layover. And I do have to add a few more things, so I was just planning some swag items. You get a little bit of a sneak peek, and also some ideas for my sponsored table, and I have a few more things again that I want to add. So there's that. This was another week in August. I didn't anticipate that I would need so much space, so I basically just put the entire week on one page, and I used these cute little circle date stickers from the August subscription. And this is like what I meant when I said I moved the habit tracker that I had on the monthly section to the weekly section. I just felt this made a little bit more sense to me in my brain for some reason. And then I love this page so much. I went downtown to meet up with some friends who came from the UK. It was actually a customer along with her husband, and it was just so lovely. And I haven't ridden the SkyTrain in a long time. The SkyTrain is basically one of the public transportation things in Vancouver, or I guess BC. So I haven't taken it in a long time, and it was just so nice to people watch. So these were some doodles of people that I saw on the train. And then this is me. Here I have a page dedicated to hummus, and I have always, enjoyed eating hummus. But it was never anything that like I craved or I actively went out to buy. However, on this day, I was just like, I have a can of chickpeas on the kitchen counter and I have a blender, so let me try making hummus. And let me tell you, it changed my life. Homemade hummus is so delicious, and I finished like half the batch at 10 p.m. that night. So if you haven't tried making hummus, I would definitely recommend it. Moving on from that, this was another week in August. I went back to this like vertical layout, and I don't always do like checklists. Sometimes I just plan random things like my meal prep, just whatever I feel like writing about. This is my page on handling negative emotions. So basically I just realized that I don't handle negative things very well, and especially when I'm already in a state of sadness or fear or anger or whatever, my brain isn't rational and it's not functioning properly, so I don't cope in healthy ways. Like I might overwork myself, I might turn to like coffee, and just like other unhealthy habits. And so I created this page to kind of gather some ideas on what I can do, and in the future when I am sad, angry, whatever, I can come back to this page and just see, okay, maybe I can try going on a walk or something. And yeah, so that is that. This was just like continuing on with this like pink week, and then I started the last week of August, and I think that's it. Yeah. Just some things that I wanted to bring to the office, and I will talk about this a little bit later on as well. And then I wrote a little blurb regarding an appointment that I had. So yeah, I'm very pleased with my pocket bullet journal progress for August so far. and this is like the peak of this video. It can only go downhill from here. Let's quickly talk about my language planner, which a few people have asked about. So as you can see, I have not kept up with it, and it's only just because I've been way too busy with like the office move and all of that. And obviously when I'm busy, you know, learning a language is not going to be my priority, or it can be. Like if that's like a big goal of yours to learn a language, then it can be like 15 to 30 minutes of every night, no matter how busy you are. The issue with me is I have way too many hobbies, and so like my number one priority outside of my work is ensuring that I go to the gym every morning. And then the second in priority in terms of hobby is like reading, and then it's like painting, and then learning a language is like number 4 in priorities in terms of hobbies. So that is why I have not kept up with it, but I do hope to continue. So this is like a spread that I did in like one of the weeks in August. Basically, I just translate whatever I do in my English planners into here, and I really like doing it this way because it makes me learn a lot of like useful daily things about my life. Yeah, I do hope to continue this into the upcoming weeks. Here I have my Hobonichi weeks, and this was a major fail in the month of August, and I'm so like hesitant to talk about this because I don't want people to be discouraged to get the Hobonichi weeks. So I just want to like very clearly say it just doesn't work for me. It works for so many other people, and it can absolutely work for you, but I don't plan on getting a Hobonichi weeks for 2024 just because I've tried so many times. But again, I really don't want to discourage you because it works for so many other people. Anyways, this is my movement tracker. This is like the one consistent thing that I have kept up with, and I'm quite proud of that. Nothing really has changed. I just write my monthly average steps up here. And then this is my legend of all of the workouts that I do. And then blue is when I hit 10,000 steps. And then brown is when I hit over 15,000 steps. And then, oh my gosh, I'm like actually I don't know, I'm feeling embarrassed to show my spreads. But again, as I said at the beginning, like I'm trying to be very transparent. But this spread is so far okay. This is my July/August spread, and this was my 23rd birthday. I didn't really use a note page very much, and I used the Be Bold kit that I released for the birthday sale. This was okay. It was like a pink week because I watched Barbie on the 8th, and as you can see, I kind of tapered off on the weekend, and I didn't use the note page at all. I especially love the family dinner lettering that I did. Let's take a moment to just appreciate this beautiful spread. So I mentioned on Instagram that I was going through kind of like a colorful gel pen phase, and I still am, and I'll show you more about that later. But I don't know what went through my brain as I did this. Maybe I'm just being dramatic, but I was like, okay, first I'm gonna use this like bold black gel pen to create this line, which I typically use a pencil for, and then let me contrast that by using like these like lighter bright gel pens for every single day, and it doesn't look right. And I think I realized that by the time it was Wednesday, and I was like, I don't want to continue. Like, I'm actually repulsed looking at this. And then this was the next week. I do like this like vertical emoji washi tape that I use, and I think I will try that for next week actually. But I realized that the Hobonichi weeks was starting to not work for me, and I was running out of ideas. So I was trying different layouts. Here, I just continued with my workouts and my personal things. And then here, I planned on writing all of my meals. But then I am a creature of habit, and literally eat the same thing basically every day, so it was getting kind of redundant. And I just kind of gave up and I just marked in my workouts. This is this current week and I'm actually very determined to actually finish the spread. It is currently the 31st, so that is why this is only half filled. And as you can see, I'm going kind of with like a brown vibe. So yeah, I guess in my September update, you will see whether I follow through with finishing the spread. So that is my Hobonichi weeks. Again, I don't know why I'm feeling so embarrassed just to share that, but there's that. Now, moving on to my Hobonichi Cousin. This one isn't as bad. I kept up with all of my daily sections, but my weekly section is a little bit sparse. This is my birthday week, and I went all out with the Be Bold kit, and I think I did a full plan with me on this. A little bit sparse on the weekend. I think I was just super busy preparing for the sale and stuff, but overall, pretty happy with this. This was, again, like I have this issue where I'm very sparse on the weekends. Let me know if this happens to you as well. But this was my Da Vinci week, and I actually really like this. And this was the start of my colorful gel pen kick. I basically used red for work, blue for personal things, and then black for notes, which I did later modify. I used the Ode to Da Vinci washi tape from my shop and several of the large doodle stickers. I love this, like the Last Supper thing. But yeah, I really like this. It's very different from my usual style. This was a very sparse week as well. Again, I will talk about this in the daily section, but this is kind of where I more realistically involved, colorful gel pens. So for this one, I didn't like as much because it was still a little bit too overwhelming for me in terms of color. So for this next week, what I did was for all of my work stuff, I would use a black gel pen as normal. And since most of my day is work, most of my writing is going to be in black, so you know that's pretty acceptable. And then for all of my personal stuff, I decided to use a colorful gel pen, so it's just like little bits of color, and I actually really like this. And this is my current favorite set. Okay, and then this week was a lot better. I used the Potato Party washi tape, which is one of my favorite things. And I continued with a thing where I used black ink for work stuff and this like caramel color for personal stuff. Did some habit tracking on the side, and on the 27th, my sister went into labor, so we were all very excited. And then on the 28th, this is when my nephew was born. And as you can see, I stepped on dog poop on this day, which was wonderful. And for this week, I'm using black ink for work, and I'm using a purple ink for personal stuff. I'm actually filming a real-time plan with me on this, so this will be uploaded on Sunday. Okay, let's move on to the daily section. I started off the month very strong. So as you can see, I was kind of doing like a rainbow spread, and I thought it would be fun to write a little fun fact at the top of the section. Oh, and also I did this kind of like challenge, and I realized my flaw in that I had to like literally write the same thing every single day, and it was getting very repetitive. So this is why I moved this tracking to the monthly page, but then I moved from the monthly page to the weekly section. So yeah, this tracker went through like 2 moves, which is just lovely. You can pause to read the fun facts if you want to. This one is about worms, and this one is about koi fish. And then on this day, I went to the mall. I had a gift card for Oaken Fort that my mom gave me, and then I also had a little bit left on my Lululemon gift card, so I bought some new pieces, which I was super grateful for. This was a fact about SpongeBob. And then this is a fact about caterpillars. So for about a week in August, my good friend Helen, I mention her quite a bit in my videos, but yeah, I have a friend whose name is also Helen. She's from Toronto, and she actually came over to visit Vancouver. So she arrived on the 4th, I think. And then all of these heart bullet points were just such lovely customers who sent over birthday cards or birthday gifts, and I was super, super grateful for. So I just wrote that all down. This is where my fun facts ended. And then this was my birthday. A very, not a very colorful birthday, as you can see. I'm not the biggest birthday person, but I do, like to treat myself a little bit. So we ordered sushi takeout from my favorite spot, and I kind of did this like receipt, which I really like. And it was definitely more than usual because my sister was still, pregnant at this time. So she couldn't have like any raw fish or like sashimi and stuff like that. So we basically ordered some portions that were, traditional sushi, and then another portion of like fully cooked things. So that is why that is a lot. And then this is a recipe that I followed for my olive oil cake that I baked. And this is a doodle that I made. This was the next day. It was a statuary holiday, and I also put down this like vinyl sticker that we gave out as freebies for the birthday sale. On the 8th, I watched Barbie with Helen, and I made a little doodle. I really did enjoy the movie, and of course I had to go all out with pink. This was just one of those days where I couldn't. Helen was actually staying over with us in my house during this few days, and she can attest to the fact that as soon as I woke up, I was just completely off. And I did a lot of things on this day, but I could not like bring myself to write a to-do list and be like hyper productive. So I just wrote, I ate, I slept, and I worked. I did manage to do some doodling. So I had a matcha with scone, and then Helen was over, so I wanted to, do something special. So I baked pull-apart bread and made her zucchini fritters. We had some Italian biscuits with tea, and then I designed the 2024 calendars. Then on the 10th, I was having I think I was continuing how I felt on the 9th onto the 10th. Again, Helen can like totally confirm that on the 10th as well, I was just feeling very not great. I was very withdrawn. And I felt extremely guilty because this was kind of like a farewell dinner. So my parents were so lovely, and they cooked this like extravagant meal. My sister and David, my brother-in-law, they came all the way over as well. And it was like this beautiful, beautiful dinner, but I just could not enjoy it. I don't think I probably said like 3 things that entire dinner. I just ate and, smiled and nodded and all of that. And I'm very thankful that my family's super understanding, but I felt very guilty. But yeah, anyways, I doodled some things that we ate, and it was, as you can see, a very extravagant thing that my parents put together. And yeah. Whoops. On this day, I put together a little design list of things that I wanted to get done. Not necessarily like on this day, that is way too many items, but just like throughout August and all of that. And then I guess Saturday was another design day as well. Here I was doodling some ideas, just like thumbnail sketches for the fundraiser we held for the Maui and BC wildfires, and it is so devastating. We basically, or I guess I basically designed some digital phone wallpapers, put them up in the store for $2.50, and then we donated 100% of the profits, and we also like topped that up ourselves. But anyways, if you did happen to support it, thank you so much. And I think I sent off the money 3 days ago, and you can find the receipts on the listings. Okay, Then on Monday, we had a lot of deliveries and I was very proud of my dinner. I had a salad, avocado, I cooked up some farro, and then I had a curry trout, which was so delicious. So I made a doodle of that. On this day, I was feeling very sluggish. Oh yeah, this is when I went downtown to see my customer and her husband. And you guys, I don't know if Natasha or Tish is going to be watching this video, but I mentioned this in our email exchange as well, but I was so nervous to meet them. I'm just like not a very charismatic social person. I don't know why, to be honest, why I agreed to meet up with them in a very like non-mean way. Like if I can avoid talking to strangers, I absolutely will. But for some reason, when she reached out to me like months ago saying that she's going to be in Vancouver and all of that, I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? And I was very scared and stressed leading up to it, but they were just so lovely, such intelligent, kind people, and I had such a lovely time talking to them. So yeah, and I promise I actually did stuff on this day, but I was just so busy that I didn't end up crossing anything off. Okay, Thursday, I did a little bit of grocery shopping, some stress baking, and then as you can see, I smudged avocado on the page. And here I was testing some like fonts that I wanted to include in one of my recent hand lettering videos. On this day, I spoke with a stranger on one of my runs. It was a very interesting encounter. I was running and I saw a raccoon that was ran over, and keep in mind this was like 5 in the morning, and she was also looking at the raccoon, and she basically like stopped me and we had a little conversation in the middle of my run, and it was just a very bizarre conversation. I won't get into it, and it just occupied my thoughts for the rest of the day. This was kind of like a rest day. Our family tries to do kind of like an out of office day on Sundays, so yeah. I did a video on this, but basically on this day I tried Tabasco sauce for the first time and it was very good. And I think I've had it every day since. Here I wrote about a salt shortage that I noticed, and it did confirm my suspicions, so that made me oddly happy, although the shortage is not for a good reason. This was me trying to plan out my 2024 planners, and this means absolutely nothing because like for example, here I planned on getting the A6 take a note planner, but then literally like last minute I just ended up getting an A5. When I do actually fully finalize all of my planners and I physically, have them in hand, I will definitely show you guys in a video. And then this begins me trying to use the same washi tape for the rest of August. And for some reason, I find this very satisfying. This is the Sunset Shimmers 2.0 washi tape from my shop, and the colors are just so bright and fun. And also, I switched from using gel pens to my Leonardo fountain pen. I was just in a fountain pen mood, so yeah. That is why the lines look a little bit thicker and not as even. Here I was just dedicating a section to how much I love celebration cookies. And if you are a Canadian and you have never tried celebration cookies, definitely go to your local grocery store. I'm sure they have it. And then this is when I got a call from my mom that my sister was admitted to the hospital, and I ordered some flowers for her, and I wanted to draw an emoji peeking out from behind the vase, but are you ready for a jump scare? Yeah, so the emoji's eyes were uneven and I tried to like even it out, but it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I was like, this is legitimately terrifying. So I ripped up a piece of craft sticky note and stuck over it and drew it on top and redrew the lines on top. So yeah, that is what happened there. And on this day I started rewatching Breaking Bad, which is one of my favorite TV shows. Monday, I stepped on dog poop on my way to the gym. I was honestly like, this Monday, this is gonna be a great week. And literally at like 5 in the morning, I stepped on dog poop. So that was lovely. But you know, my day ended up being better because again, my nephew was born, and this is me being super excited. Here I put together a little care package for my sister and David. Nothing notable to say here. And then this is today. It's early in the morning, so I haven't fully filled it out yet. Yeah, I do hope September is a much better month for me. Not because like I want my planners to be satisfying to show on social media, but just because it really does bring me joy. So yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great September ahead. I think this was a rather chatty video, but hopefully it was interesting to watch. Okay, bye.